Hello everyone. We're going to start today's class in a Sphinx pose. So make your way onto your belly and onto your forearms and allow your forehead to sink down, relaxing your neck. Now today's class is focused on side body stretching and opening, which is very good for opening the intercostal muscles, the breathing muscles. Side body stretching helps you to breathe deeper. It's going to keep your lungs more healthy by being more flexible in the breathing muscles. So allowing your head to roll from side to side and keeping your chin tucked into your throat, following the breath as you roll, and keeping the forehead and the eyelids nice and soft. So side body stretching is also really good for releasing tension in the back, the outer hip, and in the hip flexors. Now we're going to go into a side sphinx. So you'll walk your forearms around to the left and then rest your forehead on your left forearm and stretch long through the right arm, all the way from the right toes up the right side body into your right fingertips. Just letting the forehead sink down and the neck relax. Each time you breathe out, sink down with your right armpit and the right side of your pelvis and hip. Keep noticing your breath, and each time you breathe in, try and stretch longer through that right side. Making your way back up onto forearms, through the center, and all the way around to the right. So now you're going to rest on your right forehead or arm and stretch long through the left side body. You want to feel this all the way from reaching into the left toes, all the way over the left outer thigh, hip, the waist, the ribs, and then curving that spine around so that you can lengthen into the left arm all the way to the fingertips. And sinking heavily into left armpit and shoulder and into the front of your left hip and the left side of the pelvis and waist. Each exhale sinking down deeper into your whole body. And we're making our way back to center again. And then from here, we're going to make our way onto hands and knees. We're moving into a few spinal rolls. So bring those knees under your hips, arms and wrists straight down under your shoulders. And when you're ready, taking in a deep breath and arching the spine and chest down. As you exhale, round your back all the way up, tucking chin in nice and tight to the throat. Sink the shin bones and the ankles down. Don't lean all your weight into your knees. So if you can, or to get the tops of the feet flat on the floor to stretch out the top of the ankle as well. And fingers are spread on the mat, pressing down firmly with all the fingers and both palms. Keep flowing with your breath. Then making your way into a flat back. And bring knees and feet together and sit back onto your heels. Now you're going to slide your hips off to the right, so you're not sitting on your feet, both feet off to the left. Knees a little bit apart, not stacked, so that the pelvis can sink and square towards the floor. And let's take a twist around to the right. So the tops of the feet are long. Make sure you're not flexing your ankles here. Sink down heavy into the left hip. And with each in-breath, lift your heart, lift and lengthen up through the upper back, as well as through the top of your head and the sides of your neck. Sinking down heavily with each exhale, growing up taller with each inhale. We keep that tall height as you untwist. Reach out with your left hand to the left side and reach the right arm over your ear. And that left hand can go wherever you feel you need it to support you, but make sure the shoulders sink down away from your ears. Using the breath to get that full length through the whole right side body. Keep stretching through the top of the head towards your right fingers. Coming all the way up on an inhale, Well, swing those legs around to the other side. And again, make sure you're not sitting on your feet because that tilts the pelvis too much. We want to try and get a square pelvis here. Drop that right hip all the way down. If you're sitting on the foot, you can't get that to happen. Okay, twisting around to the left. And once more, working with the breaths to create height. Inhales, lift. Exhales, sink through the lower part of the body. Inhales, growing taller through the sides of the neck. Keep lifting the upper back up high and noticing the breath. Keep your mind focused on the flow of the breath as it rolls in and out. Legs stay as they are as you untwist. Balance on the right hand off to the other side and stretch the left arm all the way over. Careful about dropping your head down towards your shoulder. Soften and sink the shoulders down and lengthen through the sides of the neck. Open the sides of the neck with your breath. On an inhale, coming all the way up. And we're going to swing the legs forwards, bringing the feet together and flexing your ankles to set up the alignment for another twist. Bending the right knee up, foot on the floor on the inside of the left thigh, and swivel around, hugging that left thigh in towards your chest. And we're balancing on the right hand behind you. Then feel your left foot and make sure you're still flexing your ankle as if you're standing on the foot to create the release in the back of the calf, knee, and thigh. Using your breaths like you did in the previous twist. Each inhale, lifting through the side body, lifting the chest and the upper back to grow up taller. And untwisting. Flop your right knee down, keeping the foot on the inside of the left leg, keeping that left foot flexed. Reach your right arm up and over like you did with the previous twist. So balance on your left hand wherever you feel that you need it, and careful not to lift off your right bum. So if you tip too far over to the side, right bum and leg tends to lift. So that's going to tighten in your back. So keep sinking the right bum, the outer right thigh and knee down, and use that heaviness of the base to stretch. Coming up to center, right leg stretches out, bend the left knee up, lift your heart, then take the twist around to the other side. So before you twist, you always want to lengthen the front of your body first. Once you're in your twist, check that right foot, stretch the heel forward away from your hip, and lengthen into the back of the calf and the knee and the thigh. Soften your shoulders back towards your spine. Each in-breath lifting your chest. And keep the breath moving. Keep focusing on the breath moving. Untwisting yourself. Drop the left knee and thigh down. And we take the side body stretch. Balancing on the right hand. Tip over to the side. It doesn't have to be a deep fold over to the right. Maybe you're up quite high. Doesn't matter. Make sure the left bum is down. And keep stretching into your lifted arm and fingertips. Don't just have the arm up. Stretch up. Reach into the fingers. And lengthen sides of the neck. Keep the face soft and relaxed. Coming up to center. And now either both legs straight in front of you or cross ankles. Do what's most comfortable for your knees. And we're going to reach with the breath side to side. On an exhale, tip over, inhaling to center. The arms reach all the way over your head to each side. And as you go left to right with the breath, sink the thighs, sink the knees, relax the feet. We want everything from the waist down to be really heavy and grounded to allow for the release in your spine and your back, your chest, and obviously side body here as you move left to right with the breath. And now we're going to hold it over to one side. Doesn't matter which side. Just relax those shoulders down and soften into your chest. Don't let the shoulders scrunch up your neck towards your head. Soften them down and back, and then get even heavier in the legs and the hips. Always working with those out breaths to create heaviness so that you can lengthen from that grounded place. Let's float up with a breath, and on an exhale, tip to the other side. Once you've done that, sink the thighs and the knees again. Now don't worry if it's not the same on each side here. Maybe you've got to be higher on one side than the other, and that's fine. Just keep those hips down, keep the knees down. And each inhale, stretch a little bit longer into fingertips. And coming up to center. If you've got cross legs, stretch them out, feet together to start. We're going to take a twist again, bend the right knee up, step your right foot up and over the left leg, flex your left ankle again, and then let's twist to the right. Circling the right arm back behind you. And make sure your right bum is touching the floor, not just lightly, like really sink that right bum down. That's what's going to open the outer hip and the lower back here. If your bum lifts off the ground on the one side, you're creating tension in the back muscles and not releasing them. So keep sinking the hips down. And don't let that left foot fall over. Don't let it sleep. Keep flexing the ankle, toes straight up. Now when you untwist, we're going to Janu Shirshasana legs, same as you did the last time. Drop the knee out to the side, tip onto the left hand and stretch that right arm over again. And again, keeping the bum on the floor on the right. Stretching in two directions. Hip goes down, fingers go up, top of the head lengthens in the direction of your fingertips. We're floated up to center. Stretch both legs out, get the feet to touch first, then bend that left knee up and step your foot over the right thigh. Keep flexing your right ankle, then take your twist all the way around. Stretch the right heel forward and pull your toes towards your right knee points straight up to the roof. Soften across the chest and keep moving your shoulders back towards your upper back. Keep noticing the breath flowing in and out. And we're circling forward. Slide the left foot to the inside of the right thigh and drop your knee down, tipping onto the right hand, reaching the left arm over. Again, placing right hand wherever you feel that you need it to support yourself here. Don't tip over onto the right bum. Sink your left butt firmly down into the floor so that you have the resistance to stretch from. If the bum goes up, you lose the side body stretch. Keep gently sinking that left knee and thigh and calf down. Now coming all the way up to center and stretching both legs straight. So you can do this with feet together, or you can come back to cross ankles. If your legs are straight, keep those big toes touching. And now inhale and reach your arms up over your head and bring your hands behind your head. We're going to tip from side to side with the breath. So exhale to the side, inhale to center, and spread those elbows wide, pulling them back away from your chest. Now we want the legs to stay really stable here. So as I said, you can do this with straight legs if you need to, but then keep the big toes squeezing in together and keep the bum flat on the ground the whole time. Don't tilt pelvis left to right. Let's hold it to one side, dropping your hand to the floor. Keep your hand behind your head and we're going to curl. So as you exhale, you're going to round down, elbow to opposite knee. As you breathe in, rolling all the way up and opening the chest, pulling the elbow back. As you do this, make sure the neck stays relaxed. Soften your throat, soften your face. Tighten the belly as you crunch down. Using the hand and the arm on the ground to give you good support here to be able to move your upper body. And just like before, we want those legs to stay really stable, bum to be flat on the ground on each side. Okay, let's hold it up. Lift that top elbow and draw it all the way back as you tilt over to the side. Don't let the hips lift. Keep pressing the pelvis and thighs down. Coming up to center, hand behind your head. We'll do a few tilts side to side again. Keep breathing, don't hold the breath. And then we're going to hold it off to the other side. Drop your hand down, sink down into the bum, and we curl. Exhale to round down. Inhale to open up with that elbow and the side ribs. Keep checking the neck is not feeling compressed. Soften the neck muscles, relax the throat, relax your mouth. Now we're going to hold that top elbow up. And once you're holding that shape, sink the thigh bones again, sink the knees, particularly if you've got cross ankles. Cross ankles always tightens the groins and the inner thighs. So you have to breathe them soft, allow them to relax so the leg bones will sink. Coming back up to center. From here we're going to make our way onto hands and knees. Get the knees under the hips, don't have them touching, shins are parallel to each other behind you. We'll walk the hands around to the left side of your mat. And don't sit your bum back towards your heels. Keep your hips over your knees. Thighs are perpendicular to the mat. We'll slide the arms out to the side, coming into a side baby down dog. Now the left arm here is for balance. The right arm is for stretching. It's fine if you have to have forearms on the ground or even left forearm down and right arm stretching, but don't lose the stretch in the right side body. Keep feeling for that. And walking hands up to center. Keep thighs and knees under the hips as you take your arms around to the other side. Now it's the right arm that's giving you stability and balance, and we're stretching through the left side body as much as you can. Check those feet. Press the feet down to the ground to keep the knees safe. Relaxing the neck and breathing consciously. Let's walk hands back to center. And from here, we're going to make our way into a downwards facing dog. So tuck the toes, lift your knees, and let's give it a good stretch into down dog. Make sure that the hands are aligned correctly. You're not turning your wrists in or out. And pedal those knees if you need to. Stretch down deep into the heels. Relax the head and the neck. Let it hang. And walking your feet forwards into a standing forward bend. Feet hip distance apart. Heels are underneath the hips. Big toes very slightly turned in so that the outer edges of your feet are parallel. And we're going to hold on to the forearms and let the head hang. Your knees can be bent or straight. Don't look at the floor. Let the top of the head hang down. Breathe gently. And now change the cross of the forearm, either forearm in front or underneath. Relax your eyes. Relax your forehead. Now keep holding the elbows. We're going to come all the way up on an in-breath to standing. Feet stay as they are, and let's do some side stretches, left to right. Keep moving the armpits and the upper arms back towards the back of your head. Now the shape of the arms here can tighten the neck and the throat, so soften those muscles, but keep your legs strong. Press the knees out away from each other to firm the leg muscles. And we come to center and stretch the arms all the way up. On an exhale, release your arms down. Next in-breath, reach your arms back up again, and we're going to stay there. Try and lock the elbows straight, and you can either look forward or look up towards the ceiling. And with the elbows straight, maybe bringing your palms to touch each other. If the elbows bend as palms come together, then rather keep the hands apart. Just squeeze the elbows towards each other, squeeze the palms towards each other if you can. Next exhale, it's forward fold. Taking yourself back into a downwards facing dog. Step your feet in to touch each other and then drop your knees down to the mat. So knees and feet are together, arms under shoulders, and we're rolling the hips from side to side. Now squeeze the inner thighs together, but if the knees and the feet slightly part, that's also okay. But keep those knees on the floor, keep the feet on the floor. Try to keep the arms straight and shoulders and chest over the wrists. Pressing fingers down flat into the floor in both hands. Then coming to center, and we're going to lift up into down dog again. And now we're going to do some twists. So swivel knees to one side, hips to the other side, and bend the knees. Then come to center and twist to the other side. So preferably feet and knees stay together here. Hands flat on the ground. Swiveling and twisting the pelvis. And the knees go in the opposite direction. So you're going to be really strong with the arms here. And then holding your down dog, squeeze into heels. And take your feet forward to standing forward bend. You're hanging down and rolling the wrists. Relax the neck, head super heavy. And circle your wrists in the opposite direction. And it's fine if your knees are bent. Keep them as wide as your feet. Don't lean them in towards each other. Just relax those arms now. Relax the hands and the wrists and hang down nice and heavy. On an inhale, we'll float arms up. Exhale, hands to your chest. Now we're going to stay standing for a side body stretch. So keep the feet parallel, reach your arms up, hold onto your left wrist with your right hand, pull the left side up and long, and on an exhale, tip over to the right. Don't lean your hips to the side. Keep your hips centered over your feet. So pushing those hips out the side strains your lower back. So we keep the pelvis centered over the feet, and that will also give you a better side body stretch. We come up to center and change. Grip your right wrist with your left hand. Pull up on an in-breath and then stretch over to the left. Keep the shoulders soft and down away from the ears. Keep the hips over the heels. Knees pressing out away from each other to firm the leg muscles. And coming back up to center and releasing your arms down. We're going to move into a couple of sun salutations. So on an in-breath, arms reach up. On your exhale, fold forward, leaning into fronts of feet. Half lift on an in-breath. Then moving yourself back to your down dog. Keep breathing. Next inhale, coming to plank. If you need to, you drop your knees down first, then take your chest down. On an inhale, chest lifts to your back bend. On your exhale, lifting hips to the sky into your down dog. Check the alignment of your feet. Feet are as wide as your hips, and your heels are back behind your toes to get those feet parallel. So it's outer edges of the feet parallel. You shouldn't be able to see the heels. Maybe just a little bit of the inner heels peeping around the inner ankle, but not more than that. If your knees are bent, don't worry. Just keep pressing down with the heels towards the floor. And also don't worry if the heels don't touch the mat. That's not the aim of a down dog. Stretching out your back body is the aim of down dog. Okay, walking feet forwards to hands. Sink down into your forward bend. And on an inhale, float the arms all the way up. Staying standing as you exhale, hands to chest. Next in-breath, arms reach up again. As you breathe out, forward fold. Half lift on an in-breath, lengthen the spine, and then take it back to your down dog. Moving in your own time. On an in-breath, forwards to plank, and then lowering down as you breathe out. Curl your chest up on an in-breath, and when you're done, press back and hold your down dog again. First thing you do is you check the alignment of your hands, then the alignment of the feet. Make sure you're not pushing your armpits towards the floor. Armpits actually move in the direction of the back of your head, forwards towards the front of the mat. So we're leaning heavily into the arms. Don't try and press your chest towards the floor. It might feel like you're getting a deeper stretch, but you're actually creating too much pressure in the shoulder joint. Then taking feet forward, deep forward bend at the top of the mat. If you want to, you can hold on to your legs with your hands, but don't try and force your head towards your legs. We want to try and get chest on the thighs, head and neck are just relaxed and hang heavily here. On an inhale, float the arms up. On your exhale, hands come down. Now we're going to turn sideways on the mat. So step your legs out into a V and you go so wide as is comfortable for you. Turn the feet parallel. Deep breath in, and on your exhale, fold down. So you can have hands on the floor, or you can hold onto your ankles or calves, or you can hold the forearms and just hang and maybe the forearms on the floor. So find the pose that feels right for you today. Keep pressing your knees out in opposite directions away from each other. That firms the leg muscles and it also widens in the sits bones, so it's releasing the hips further. And that widening in the sits bones releases the lower back by widening the lower back. Each time you breathe out, feel yourself sink into your chest, sink into your forehead. Keep widening the calves, pressing knees out. And now we're going to come into a little bit of core strengthening, but not too intense. We'll bring hands onto hips. Stay there with a flat tabletop back and bend your knees. Now the knees push out even more away from each other. Do not do this with straight legs. Knees are bent, knees push out, spine is flat and parallel to the floor. And keep lifting your elbows up away from the ground. Don't drop them down. Squeeze the belly tight and lengthen in the spine. Lengthen the chest forward. So we're squeezing all the muscles tight to the bones. Then coming all the way up to standing. Turn your left toes open to the back edge of your mat. Inhale, arms wide. And on an exhale, fold over to triangle. Either hand on shin or hand on ankle. Right hand can be on your hip or arm, stretching all the way up. And if you're going a little bit deeper, fingertips to the ground, inside your left foot, or palm flat on the floor. If you're going hand on the floor, press your forearm back into your leg. So slide the arm and the leg so that they touch each other. And then either looking to the ground or forwards in line with the chest or up towards your right hand or thumb. Lean towards the back of your head, upper back. Lean towards the backs of your legs. So we're leaning towards the back of the right thigh and the outer left thigh. Fully open in the chest. And then coming all the way up to center. Turn your left toes in. Turn your right toes to the right side of the mat. Take in a deep breath, and as you exhale, fold over to the other side. Now just make sure that those feet are aligned correctly. And then leaning towards your spine. Don't lean into your chest and that right hand. That right hand is just there for a little bit of support. The weight is back towards your back body. Keep noticing your breath here and keep the breath rolling in and out easily. Remember, top hand can be on your hip. On an inhale, come all the way up. Turn the feet parallel and then heel toe or hop your feet into center. Alright, you're going to need a chair here. Or a table, or you can do this with hands on the wall, and we're coming to a standing down dog. Knees can be bent or straight. If you've got a lot of tension in your back, then bend the knees and it'll help to flatten out the spine and release that tension. Check the feet are parallel. As I said, you can do this with hands on the table, hands on the wall, hands on the back of the chair. But make sure that your hands are as wide as your shoulders or wider, and that the hands are on the same level as each other here. You let your head hang and relax your neck, relax your throat. Keep lengthening back with your sideways and the outer hips. And then coming all the way up to standing. Back up to the top of your mat. On an inhale, float your arms up. On an exhale, forward fold. Lean forwards into the fronts of your legs. And then we're taking a high lunge, stepping the left leg back. And now take your right foot out to the right side of your mat. So we're in a wide lunge or a high lizard pose. Arms are straight under your shoulders, hands straight under the shoulders, and give it a nice long stretch in that back leg. And at the same time, sink the back of the right thigh down, but not lower than your right knee. Keep using your breaths to stretch your chest forward, to flatten out the back. Now your legs stay exactly as they are. Walk your hands around to the left side of the mat and make sure your right knee is over your right heel here. It will want to follow you around to the side. Check your left heel and make sure it points straight up to the roof. Don't twist the heel in or out. So that left knee is pointing to the ground. It's straight. Right knee is over your right heel. If it doesn't want to stay there, you can always push the knee back with your right hand. And arms are under the shoulders. So we're now taking a side high lizard pose. And walk your hands forward. Step your left foot forwards to the left edge of the front of the mat and take your right leg back on the other side. So we're in the high lizard, left knee over the left heel, arms on the inside of your left leg. We'll hold it here for a few breaths and keep working into flattening your back, stretching the straight leg long, and keeping weight into the back of your left thigh. Don't let the left knee lean out away from your arm. Now keeping that left knee where it is over the heel, we'll walk hands around to the right side of the mat. Check the right heel is pointing straight up and the right knee points straight down to the floor. Just keep checking your left knee as well. So tension in the inner left thigh and in the groins will make that left thigh want to hug to your waist, knee towards your arm. Don't let that happen. Keep pressing the left knee back away from you. Keep it over your left heel. Softening into the chest. And then walking hands forward and stepping up to the top of your mat. On an inhale, we rise all the way up, exhaling the arms down. And now we're going to step sideways on the mat again. So you're taking your legs out into a V shape. Make sure your feet are parallel. And then keep the right foot like that and turn your left toe to the top of the mat again. We're going to reach the arms wide. Now watch. We're going to go back into a reverse triangle, and then we're going to be coming forwards into a side angle pose. We're going to pulse between those two, okay? So you're going to reach up, and then if you want to go further, you can actually change the arms and do them like this, reaching the arms in front of you and over, rather than leaning on the hands. We want to keep that left knee back. Okay, so let's do it. So reach the arms wide, take in a deep breath, and reverse your triangle. Coming up on an exhale, straight into side angle pose. Inhale to reverse triangle, exhale to side angle. You can always rest on your elbow, or you can take it further, sweeping the arm in front of you, and then you're not leaning on your leg as you bend your knee. So 2 options with the arms there. So inhale and lift, exhale and bend. It's okay if you can go really deep into the bend in the knee, that's fine. Squeeze the leg muscles tight. Okay, so we're warming those side body muscles, we're warming the shoulder and the hip joints here. Keep breathing, keep moving. And now we're going to hold our reverse triangle. Twist your left knee in the direction of your left toes, not in the direction of your chest. Keep breathing, softening into the left rib muscles. And now we come up with a breath and we're going to full side angle. We're holding it there, either elbow on thigh or hand or fingertips on the ground. Check your right foot. Outer edge of the right foot is on the ground. Don't lift the outer heel or the baby toe. But do lift your inner ankle. Inner right ankle keeps going up to help you keep your legs strong and to protect your joints. Okay, coming all the way up. Left toes turn forwards in the direction of your chest. Turn your right toes out to the right side of your mat. We'll take that all to the other side. Arms reach wide. Inhale to reverse triangle. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, side angle pose. And either keep those arms or you can sweep the arm in front of you. Then that's going to make those core muscles work a little bit more. It'll make the leg muscles work a little bit more. Only do the stepped up arms if it feels okay for shoulders and hips. Keep sweeping with the breath. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, side angle. Keep the right knee pushing all the way back each time it bends. Okay, now we're going to hold the reverse triangle. Check in with your right knee and twist your right knee open towards your toes, and then try and twist it even wider without moving your foot. Notice your breath in your pose. And coming up on an inhale, exhale into your side angle pose and hold it there. So again, you can take the right fingertips down to the ground or keep the elbow on the thigh. But keep moving that right knee back in the direction of your spine. Long, deep breaths in and out. Squeeze the leg muscles tight. And you're coming all the way up with an inhale. Turn the feet parallel and stay like that. Don't do what I'm doing. Just watch. So we're going to go into a forward fold from where you are. And we're going to be reaching the arms forward. So when you fall down, just watch. You're going to reach the arms forward like this. Don't turn it into a down dog like this. Right? You're going to keep the hips back in line with your feet, or even further a little bit back than that. But our arms reach forwards. Okay. So we're keeping the legs wide. Feet are parallel. Deep breath in. On an exhale, you fold down. and stretch your arms out in front of you, but don't lean your weight into your hands. Your weight is back into your hips and the backs of the heels. So we're using that leaning back a little bit to create some resistance for you to stretch against. Keep pressing your knees out away from each other so the legs are strong and the leg muscles engaged. Don't let the weight sink to the inner thighs. All right, coming up onto hands. And now we're going to turn heels in and do some side lunges. So exhale to bend one knee, inhale to center. So one leg is straight, one leg is bent. Just moving with the breath side to side. Out breath you bend, in breath straightening to center. Try to keep the hands to center so that you're not using your arms to hold you up, you're using your legs and you're using the muscles in your torso rather than the arms. Arms are just there for a little bit of support. Keep going. Okay, now we're turning the feet parallel again, and once more we're going to reach those arms forward. So if it's comfortable for you, you can take the feet a little bit wider this time, but make sure those big toes turn in slightly. Press the knees and the calves out away from each other and reach your arms forward over your head, just letting the head hang, just like you did before. If it's comfortable for you, bring your hands in so that they touch each other with the elbows straight, and that's going to increase the side body stretch. And now bringing arms back under shoulders. Turn your right toes to the top edge of your mat. Step your hands to that right foot and step the right foot back to downwards facing dog. So coming to your down dog and stretching it out into the backs of the legs. Feet are parallel, palms flat on the mat. And now bringing feet together, dropping the knees out to the edges of the mat, wider than the hips, sitting hips back towards your heels. Sink your forehead down. Either stretch the arms long as they reach over your head or drop your forearms down to the mat. Just taking a rest here. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can always lie flat on your stomach. Then reaching your hands off the left side of your mat. So we come into a side baby down dog, stretching out the right arm and the right waist and ribs. Press the hips back and down, but don't worry if they don't touch your heels. Relax the back of your neck. And then walk your arms all the way around to the other side. Still keeping hips back towards the heels, creating the resistance for you to reach your arms in the opposite direction and get that full release down the whole left side body. And walking your hands forwards and back onto your mat, we're going to make our way down to sitting. We're going to be coming into Janu Shirshasana, bringing left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Now make sure your right foot stays flexed, toes straight up, reaching forwards, either hands on the floor or hands on the right shin, or holding onto the edges of your foot. If you're down quite deep, you can bend your elbows, then with elbows press up as they pull away from each other to flatten the shoulder blades on your upper back. And that will help you to maybe fold a little bit deeper. Now keep lengthening your chest forwards towards that right foot. And don't look back towards your body or your right thigh. Look towards the right shin or forwards towards where your hands are or where your right foot is. We're come all the way up and change legs. Right foot up to the inside of the left thigh. Flex your right ankle. Don't flop the foot over to the side. That affects the release in the hip. So keep your left knee pointing straight up as you sink forwards. And just check in with the balance of the weight across your pelvis. Check that you're not leaning more to your left hip or thigh. Sink into the right leg and the right bum as well. Also checking that you're not looking back towards your body or the top of the left leg. Rather look straight down or forwards. Making your way all the way up. And stretch the right leg out in front of you. Now you can do this next thing either with crossed ankles or with straight legs. If legs are straight, keep the big toes touching each other the whole time. If it's comfortable for you, then you come into cross ankles. And we're taking a forward fold here. Let the thighs sink. Anytime you're sitting with cross ankles, that tightens the inner thighs and inner groins, the knees will lift. So soften the inner thigh muscles, let the knees sink down. And now walk your hands off towards the left. We'll lean over the left thigh. Try and stretch both arms long if you can, and keep your right bum down on the mat. Don't tip off your right bum. Press it back and down. And keep reaching long through both your arms. A little bit of a twist going on in the ribs here. And let's walk those hands all the way over to the other side. Try to square your chest off with your right thigh or your knee. And stretch long through both arms, but particularly the left one. And at the same time, press the left thigh and the left bum back and down towards the floor. And we're walking our hands forwards again. You'll roll yourself all the way up. And let's change the legs. Other shin crosses in front, or you're doing this with straight legs. And then folding forwards again. The more you reach forward, the more you've got to press your butt back and down into the ground. Let the thighs sink. Sink your knees, your shins, and keep the feet relaxed. Legs stay as they are and walk your hands off towards the right again. Lengthen through both sides of your neck. Don't tuck your chin into your throat. Keep stretching the top of the head forwards away from your spine. Feel your body moving as you breathe. Walking your hands forwards and all the way off to the left. We're trying to square the chest over that left leg and knee. Sink the right thigh and bum back and down into the floor. And walking your hands forwards again and coming all the way up. Now we're going to reach the left arm up, bend your elbow, and then reach over with the right hand and either hold onto your forearm or onto the elbow or the upper arm. And you drop your left forearm behind your head. Now pull onto that left arm with your right hand. Either just pulling that upper arm in really close to your head or leaning a little bit towards the right. So it's not a big bend towards the right. It's a little bend. Don't force it any deeper than that. Keep the legs pressing down if you've got cross ankles. and then come to center and change. So bring the right upper arm to your head, drop the forearm, and then hold onto that right forearm or elbow or the upper arm with the left hand. The right forearm goes behind the head. Relax your neck, relax your throat and your mouth. And coming back to center and releasing the arms. And now we're going to come into wide leg, V-shaped legs. Open them up, flex the ankles, and then bring left foot into the right thigh. Don't flop the right foot open to the side. Keep the toes pointing straight up. So flopping the foot always tightens the inner thigh. Keep the toes up to release the inner thigh. And then we're folding down. Now you're not leaning towards the right leg or the left leg. You're folding straight down between the middle of the two thighs in that V shape. Careful not to look back towards your body. That will make your back round. We want the back to lengthen here and flatten. We'll come all the way up. Open the left leg out. Bring the right foot in. Thighs are still in a V shape to the pelvis. Flex the left ankle. Don't flop your foot down. Toes point straight up. And we're tipping forwards again. Make sure that both sides of your bum are on the ground. Otherwise, one side of the back is going to over tighten. You don't get a good release in the spine. And we're looking either straight down or in the direction of your hands, not back at your chest. Soften into your breath. And then come all the way up and open that right leg out again. Now we're going to move side to side with a breath. On an exhale, reach one arm up and over. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the other side. Keep going left to right with the breath. Press the backs of the calves down. Press the heels into the floor. Pull your toes up towards your knees so that the tops of the thighs are firming. And that is going to help stabilize your pelvis. So you'll see that I'm not lifting my bum from side to side and wiggling the pelvis, keeping the bum flat on the ground. And now coming to center, reach your arms up over your head and bring hands behind your head. And we do the same thing with hands behind the head and elbows wide. Try not to let the back round here. And we're going to drop the right hand down to the floor, keep the left elbow up, and give it a good twist back. Open the left ribs, open the left chest. So I'm pushing my hand into the back of my head, supporting my head with my hand to help the neck release. Don't lift off your left bum, keep it down. And then up to center, right hand behind your head, tip over to the other side and rest on the left palm on the ground. And then we twist, try and take that right elbow all the way back. It's like I'm trying to turn my chest to face the ceiling. Keep the neck muscles relaxed. Keep the right bum down on the floor. And keep twisting back. And coming up to center, take a few shoulder rolls here to release the shoulders and the chest and the upper back. And roll in the opposite direction. And once more change and roll the other way around. Alright, now we're going to bring that left foot into the right thigh again, and we're going to take our twisting Janu Shasana. So turn around towards the left and hook your right fingers over your left leg and just give it a really good twist. Now you're flexing your right ankle, so we're not looking at that right foot. You have to feel that it's doing what it should be doing. There's really good swivel in the waist, in the ribs, and the chest. And we untwist, open that left leg out, and bring the right foot in. So we're just busy preparing the body for that deep revolved Janu Shirshasana. Okay, give it a really good twist around to the right. Feel that left foot, flex your ankle, left knee points straight up, left toes point straight up. And then untwisting again. We'll stretch that right leg open, and once more bring the left foot in. Same thing that you did before. Take a really good twist around to the left. Flex the right ankle, pull your toes up to your knee. And now we're going to start to tip right waist towards the right thigh. Keep the twist in your ribs. And then that right elbow, if you can, we want to get it on the floor on the inside of the leg. Or if you can't get that arm there, you rest your elbow or forearm on your right thigh, or even right hand on the floor on the outside of the leg. If you can, it's elbow on the floor, digging into the right thigh or calf or knee. And then reach your left arm straight up like a triangle and bring your hand behind your head. We're going to stay here a little bit and work the twist. Okay, keep turning your chest up towards the ceiling. That right leg has got to stay strong, and don't lift your left bum off the ground. Push it down firmly. Keep twisting. And you either stay like that, or if you want to go a bit deeper, reach that left arm straight. Stretch the elbow straight. If it's comfortable for you, then you can try and reach for your foot. Now you can see here what happens when the arm goes over the head for the foot. Arm starts to move in front of your face. Don't let your arm come in front of your eyes or your nose. Arm has got to stay over the side of your head. Otherwise, bring that hand back behind your head and just work the twist without the arm over. To come out, we roll forwards and then all the way up. Left leg opens, right foot comes in. Flex your left ankle, keep the toes straight up, and take your twist. So we'll hold the twist for a few breaths. Sink down heavily into the backs of the thighs. Now we start to lean the left waist over towards the left thigh. You rest on the left palm or the left forearm on your leg. Or if you can, want elbow on the inside of the thigh or knee or calf. You can hold onto the calf, or you can hold onto the right leg with the left hand. And reach your right arm straight up. Bring your hand behind your head. From there, we work the twist. Take that right elbow all the way back. Lift the right ribs up high and twist them back as well. Make sure both of the thighs, both sides of your bum are flat on the ground. No tipping off that right butt. Keep breathing. And either stay like that, or you can stretch the right arm straight over your head. And again, if you're going deeper, if you're going to try and reach for your foot, don't bring your arm in front of your face. Keep the arm over the side of your head, not in front of your nose. You don't have to have the arm over. You can keep your hand behind your head. And check in with the pelvis and the thighs. They are still flat on the ground. I'm trusting you to keep that alignment. And to come out, we roll forwards between the legs. And then we curl all the way up. Well done, everyone. Now opening that right leg out. We're going to come into one last forward fold here. Both legs straight with the legs touching each other. Keep the big toes together. And reaching forwards and folding down. You don't have to be holding the feet. You can have hands on shins or hands on the ground, or you can always use a strap or belt around the feet to have something to pull against. If you're pulling against the arms, make sure your shoulders, your chest, and your upper back are soft, and that you're lengthening the sides of the neck forward. Don't look back towards your body or your chest. Rather look straight down or towards your feet to help flatten out your back. Keep lengthening the front of your body forwards. Soften all the muscles in your face. And soften into your breathing. And coming all the way up. And we're going to lie straight down onto our backs and take our rest pose. It's 3 minutes in your Shavasana. Of course, you're welcome to stay there longer if you want to. Once you're down on your back, adjust your body, wiggle around until you feel quite comfortable. And sometimes if the lower back is a bit sensitive, you start your Shavasana with knees bent, and when you start to feel comfortable in the back and the groins, then you let the legs stretch out again and go into the full rest. So sinking down into your shoulders now and letting your whole body get really heavy. Relax over your forehead. Soften the eyebrows and the eyelids. Relax cheeks, mouth, and chin. Each time you breathe out, feel your body sink, sinking deeper and deeper into the floor. Let all the muscles in your whole body soften. Allow yourself to completely let go now and completely relax. Now bringing your awareness back to feeling your hands and your feet. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes to wake them up. Rolling wrists and ankles. And then taking in a deep breath and giving yourself a good stretch. Maybe hugging your knees into your chest. making your way up to sitting. Coming to a tall, straight spine. Bringing hands to heart and allowing the eyes to close. May our minds be open to the divine light that guides us. May our hearts be open to the divine love that surrounds us. May the angels keep us and bless us and bring us joy. Namaste, everyone.